All right, class in session. We'll finish up here with the Nicole Atkinson's interview. Good gems in this one. Like I said, it started off a little slow, and then we ended up learning more and more. So let's finish it up with this video and see what gems we can learn here.
On the way there, and then she listened to it majority of the weekend, and she was picking out like how the book related to her and Chris, and how she could change these things or that things. And
what was the book name? Do you remember?
I don't, but I could find out for you. I know the friend that referred her to it.
So she's talking about the book that, it looks like she said it was for Chris, but it looks like it's for both of them. And that's good. This shows now, again, unfortunately, because of what happened, it was too late for them. But this is why you focus on, problems as they present themselves. You know what I mean? And at least not letting things get out of hand, especially as men, as leaders of a relationship. When you see things happen that you want changed or need to be addressed, you address them. And most marriages, and I've talked to, being in my 304 phase of dating. I dated so many women that were divorced and talking about their husbands so many times. It was weakness. Was it? One of the best things that I got out of, when dating apps were still serviceable several years ago. Like I said, I've been on, I don't know, close to thousands of dates. And again, most of them just dates, whether it, was a hug, kiss, or, banging. Most of the time it was not banging, but plenty of times it was. So my point is not to flex on that. It was my experiences with women, and so many times it was talking about relationships and ex-husbands, and it was weakness was the problem in the marriage.
Do you want me to text her?
Yeah, you know it. So actually, I was gonna have you text a bunch of stuff to me, if you would. I would appreciate it.
Can I have a separate piece of paper?
Yeah.
And I know I asked the detective earlier to call me, and I wasn't trying to be uncooperative or whatever. I've talked to so many people.
I'm sure.
I was like, I need to go to work.
Sure. You just gotta be for a little bit.
Okay, so what did you want?
Alright, so let's see, let's go in reverse order. So the text string that you had with her on the 8th of August, starting at about 9:55, where she talks about he says he's not compatible and he's done.
Okay.
Will you send me that text string?
Yeah.
Let's see.
And then I'll give you other people's information, because like Cassie, I don't know if they're in text message or not, but Chris told her she did want the baby.
We did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you'll put
I can write down everybody's information.
yeah, if you'll write down Cassie and Christina as well. And then if you'll do the photograph of the shoes.
And I don't know why I took a picture of the shoes. I really don't. It's just like when I was walking through the house, I'm like, well, that's odd. That's odd. Because, to me, I don't understand why the police officer let us go in the house.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at that point, it's still at this point where it's still a missing person.
Right. But.
Go back. Because, Nicole, there's laws. Hold on.
Dan, do you remember?
I don't, but I could find out for you. I know the friend that referred her to it.
Okay.
Do you want me to text her?
Yeah, you know it. So actually, I was gonna have you text a bunch of stuff to me, if you would. I would appreciate it.
Can I have a separate piece of paper?
Yeah.
And I know I asked the detective earlier to call me, and I wasn't trying to be uncooperative or whatever. I've talked to so many people.
I'm sure.
I was like, I need to go to work.
Sure. You just gotta be for a little bit.
Okay, so what did you want?
Alright.
This is how you deal with women that try to bring. I wasn't trying to be you were being non-cooperative, whatever. You just glancing blow on her emotional stuff. This is when you're dealing with your girlfriend. Glancing blows. I understand, no problem. I understand. It worked out. That's how you deal with girls. You know, don't get into, well, how'd that make you feel? Oh, and then try to solve, well, next time, blah, blah, blah. Glancing blows. Oh, yeah, no, it's okay. Let it go because you don't care that much, and let a woman know you don't care. You can't take their problems too seriously. And I mean this. I mean, unless you need to do a deep dive. We love them, but they want us to act in a certain way, and they only can love us if we act in a certain way. And we can't be as emotional as them, you know?
Let's go in reverse order. So the text string that you had with her on the 8th of August, starting at about 9:55, where she talks about he says he's not compatible and he's done.
Okay.
Will you send me that text string?
Yeah.
Let's see.
And then I'll give you other people's information because, like Cassie, I don't know if they're in text message or not, but Chris told her she want the baby.
We did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you'll put
I can write down everybody's
yeah,
information.
if you'll write down Cassie and Christina as well. And then if you'll do the photograph of the shoes.
And I don't know why I took a picture of the shoes. I really don't. It's just like when I...
Remember that a lot of times women thinking they're subconscious. The reason she took a picture of the shoes is because Shanann used to wear them all the time, and she knows that. So her intuition was saying, if she's gone out the house, she's going to have these shoes on. And she doesn't have them. She wanted to prove to somebody she doesn't have the regular flip-flops she has on. Now, speaking, and this is minor, I understand, but flip-flops is lazy. I mean, and this is what we have to understand, men and women, when you're in a relationship, you still want to look sexy. And not that flip-flops can't be, but flip-flops every day is lazy, you know. Men want to see you in something other than your regular flip-flops, I mean, if some other chick was coming after your man, and how would you act? And if your woman is low bar effort, then that tells you something.
To the house, I'm like, well, that's odd, because, like, to me, like, I don't understand why the police officer let us go in the house.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at that point, it's still at this point where it's still a missing person.
Right.
She doesn't understand. I mean, oh well, lawyer Nicole Atkinson. This is women sometimes, relax, Nicole. Like stand down, ladies. You don't know the laws, If you have a missing person and you're looking for your friend, 9 times out of 10, that's all it is they had a fight, she's gone. This Chris Watts situation is the outlier, okay? And this didn't go to trial. He got 3 or 4 life sentences. He's not going anywhere. It all was okay, even though you weren't running everything, ladies. Nicole, I mean, damn, dude.
But, like, he let us touch things and go through things.
Oh, Lord. Oh, God. Like, we couldn't explain that away. We're looking... right then, it was more important to see if we could find her. I mean, as a policeman, we're just getting started here. We're trying, oh, God, your fingerprints are on her purse. So what? Your fingerprints or your DNA is on her purse. It's going to be there. You went on a trip with her, so... your son's DNA is on the purse, and so is Chris's. Well, did your son do it? Where your son probably had an alibi. He's with your father. He's with his father. I mean, all this can be explained away. The police aren't at that point. They're not looking into a murder case. They were looking into a missing person, and your quick action on this is essential to find this person. Relax. I mean, that's sometimes women want to be deputized into. Oh, chemical engineer. Why did they do this? Why did they do that? This emotional, we've given the ladies a little bit too much power at times. We love y'all, but sometimes you got to stay in your own lane,
I'm like, I don't know, I've watched a lot of crime.
Oh, geez. So watched a lot of crime TV. Well, then, you're deputized, Nicole.
If you could do the few texts that you sent her on
the
morning that she was supposed to go to the doctor's office,
which is
as well.
12th?
The 12th, yeah.
Okay.
I think you said you sent several texts that morning.
Yeah.
If you could send me screenshots of those two.
And Chris has been corresponding like with all of us over the week. Like there's like 5 or 6 of us that,
Has been?
yeah. So I'll give you all of their numbers.
Yeah, if you would, that would be great.
Well, he wasn't really corresponding with me, but he talks Cassie's husband Josh. I'll just put Cassie and Josh. He confides in Josh.
Okay. Are they good friends?
They met through Thrive, but like on all the trips we go on, they hang out together. And then Cassie came out to visit, and they stayed at their house.
Okay.
And they're bros.
And as a wise man, limit your time in chat groups, meaning family chat groups, sports. I'm in sports teams. I limit my, and this is a change in, as I've gotten older. Do not, do not comment in chat groups. Do not participate in chat groups. And obviously I do because I'm on sports teams and stuff. Limit your participation in those, because it's not social. First of all, it wastes time, and secondly, your jokes can be seen as not seen as how you like it, or just limit your time in them. That's all.
So is she still considered a missing person?
At this point, I don't know if anything's happened since I've been talking to you.
Well, because the lady that called me, she's like, we have some more evidence we need to talk to. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, a lot of it's just a clarification thing.
Do you need to know where they're at, so when you call, they're up?
Oh, sometimes in Hawaii, you mean?
Yeah, like Christina's in Hawaii,
Yeah,
and
he's right.
Abby's on the
Hawaii
East
or
Coast.
something.
Eastern, and she's in Arizona.
Did you happen to take pictures anywhere else on the inside of the house?
I can look, I don't know why the shoes stick out to me, probably because she wears a lot of them. She's like, you should buy these shoes. Do you have her mom's number?
Go ahead and give it to me. I'm sure we've got it somewhere. Make sure I got that.
Why, can I ask a question?
Sure.
She's a missing person and these are the children. Why haven't they issued Amber Alerts for her?
Well, with an Amber Alert, there has to be specific actionable information. Like they were seen with this person, and that person presents a possibility of bodily injury or death to them.
Okay.
Since we don't have at this point an indication that they've been actually kidnapped or anything like that, that's the reason it hasn't been an actual Amber Alert. It doesn't mean that it can't evolve into that. But if we just issue Amber on missing people all the time,
Right.
it loses its effectiveness.
Then you want...
I was going to ask you, any indication of infidelity on either part?
Yep.
Anybody?
So, this weekend, this is one of the things that happened this weekend.
Let's see. This is important for
We
guys.
went to a Rocky
What do girls watch for? Let's see.
on Saturday night.
Who do you go with, you know?
People come to work, I have no idea, that's just he.
Well, that's what Chris said. He did not go to Rocky's game. He went out with Nicole Kessinger, and he went to the Lazy Dog. They banged before the Lazy Dog. They went to the Lazy Dog, ate for about an hour, max hour and a half, and they banged again. So it was more banging time, which is a beautiful thing for Chris, and less eating time. And it, especially in the beginning of a relationship, if it's more time banging, then that's the strength of your relationship. And less time eating and going out. A lot of times your beta male predators will be looking to do more outside the bedroom than inside the bedroom. That's kind of how you can tell if you're alpha bang or you're beta male.
He went to Rockies game on Saturday night, so they got a babysitter.
He got a
for the
babysitter.
girls. And Shania was texting with the babysitter to check on the girls throughout the night. But we were in Arizona, so they're it's an hour difference, right?
Mm-hmm.
An hour later. Chris wasn't home by like 9 o'clock, which she thought was odd because it was an afternoon ball game. And then she sent her bank statement and he went out to dinner, which that's not odd, but the total was $60-some. And she's like, why would he spend $60-some at dinner? And I'm like, maybe he gets a beer, I don't know.
You remember where?
And this is, and what I always say, if you suspect an affair going on, especially as men, not for women, but women too, I guess, because we're seeing it here. But for men, if you suspect an affair going on, $60, afternoon baseball game, he's still not home at 9 o'clock. He was out banging. We heard from Nicole exactly what happened. So, excuse me. You get some rest. But anyway, but let's move on for lessons to be learned. So, but look how deft women are, and they're not going to tell you. She noticed $60 for the dinner, right? So the woman knows she's those wheels are and you're not gonna be able to control that. So understand, you're trying to go out there, have affairs and this and that. You're going to be found out. You're going to be found out pretty quickly. Women are good at that. Men, not so much. And this is why, because a lot of times in affairs, women go to bang. They don't go to dinners. They go straight to bang. They don't do this dinner on, and that's why men get exposed, because men, but this you should be doing what women do, just going to bang. I say you should be fuck buddies for the first, 6 months a minimum. So what are you doing going to the lazy dog? You're exposing yourself. Women don't expose themselves. They'll go straight to hotel rooms, or they'll go straight to the dude's house. And so they can go on a lunch break. They can go 1 hour after work, and that's why women can carry on an affair for years and not get caught. Men, we sit there and go out and go to dinners and pay for them and go to baseball games and.
The lazy dog in Westminster. 144th. And
They got him, man.
I-25. It's in that Orchard Shopping Center.
Okay.
So.
What kind of restaurant is that?
It's like a bar and grill type
So
thing.
you'd have to work at it to get $65.
Yeah, well, that's what we were talking about, because I'm like, well, we went out to dinner tonight. It was a Mexican restaurant, but it was a bar and grill type thing. And I mean, I had some drinks, so I was like, well, my bill was $47 tonight. And she's like, Nikki, $63, yours was $47. And it was one person. I'm like, well, yeah, but we didn't have appetizer and dessert. It's like
$63 is 2 people for sure, When you're going out, I mean that's pretty cheap. I mean that's probably those prices back then in 2018, dude. It's $100. I mean that's why you need F buddy situation. You need to be F boy situation. $100 a pop, dude. Hell no. You want a woman with high interest that doesn't need a lazy dog, and Nicole didn't need that, He offered that, She probably would have been fine banging, resting, banging.
was treating himself, trying to make her feel better, because she was, and then
there you go.
Him. I don't know if she called him or texted.
There you go. Nicole, that's what women do. That's why they're bad at giving advice. We love them for this, but, because they're so awesome at worrying about our feelings. But that's why they're bad for giving advice. She said she was trying to make Shania feel better. Instead of telling, your buddy would be like, bro, your girl's out there getting banged, bro. But Nicole's like, well, maybe he was treating himself. And she don't want to hurt her feelings. Women are so nice like that. This is not going hard. This is like being nice to them. They're so awesome to us sometimes. Too awesome to us sometimes,
She called him, because me and Cassie went down to the pool. And she said she called him. She said she was going to call him. So I don't know whether she actually talked to him, because we weren't in the room. But she said that he wasn't home yet either. He didn't get home until 10:30, which she found that to be odd, because it was well after dinner.
Yep, out banging Nicole Kessinger. See, she was finding out. That's why it all came to a head the Sunday into Monday. She got home, Sunday night, Monday morning? That's why it all came to a head. She found out. She knew. And they had a discussion about it. And that's why she banged him that night, But, who knows what happened. But this is why you don't let it get to that point, And this is what I've been there trying to run around having a double life. You know, if you can't live your truth, you know, then don't live it. Yeah. So this is where it was going down. You know, and he had already come out and told Shanann, so now she's on high alert. You know, and yep.
And she knows when he gets home because their security system tells you when you open.
Look at that. I mean, this is why you don't live together. I mean, and this is why you don't get married. I mean, I'm just saying, like, for men, dude, you want to be followed like this everywhere, dude? No, I'm sorry. It's just not doing it. Not getting followed by a security camera. Not getting followed by dual, joint bank accounts. Not doing it. You know, I mean, it just, don't do that to yourself, you know. And most 90% of men, you can't live to that standard, you know. You just can't.
All right. So, she asked him what he had for dinner, and again, she's trying not to accuse or be snarky. So he said, "Oh, I had some salmon and a beer." She's like, "Oh, okay."
She's trying not to accuse or be snarky, yet watch this deft, passive aggressive. See, women think they pulled the fast one, okay? But she's just as snarky and aggressive as can be, just by doing it more deftly. Here we go.
Save the receipt because I need it for taxes.
She needs the receipt for taxes, yet they're like 500,000, literally like 500,000. If let's just say for conservative, $300,000 in debt. Yet you need that lazy dog receipt for 70, 60 bucks. You know, you need that receipt. Save it for the receipt. Yeah, Chris knows that Nicole's dinner's on that receipt, right? Save the receipt, because I'm going to bust you and need it for taxes. You know, that's a gun to his head. That's a gun to Chris's head. That's aggression. Don't think that's not aggression. That's passive aggression, but passive aggression, like it said in the 33 Laws of Power, is aggression. She's telling you, look, motherfucker, you get that receipt to me, or else. And then when you give it to me, and I get that receipt, and I realize there's 2 dinners on there, you're fucked. That's what she's saying. Do you want to live like that? I wouldn't. I'd cut that, cut that off. Now, what he did wrong because he couldn't be honest. This is all his fault. But again, on the flip side, you're both asking for it. You don't want to live like this with this passive aggressive. Nah, that's if she's being passive aggressive like this. That's when you come back and say, "Why? You want to see if there's 2 names on that receipt?" Well, I'm not going to give it to you. I dare war, whatever. Just I mean, you got to call out BS behavior when you see it.
Sorry if she writes off.
Right. And listen to the friend. Listen to the friend. Listen to the lady friend. Excuse her. She writes off him. Your friend's $500,000 in debt. Do you know this? Do you know she's in bankruptcy? And she writes off a dinner. A dinner. How can she write off his dinner with his mistress? Get out of here, dude.
So then she gets off the phone with him, or when we come back, she's upset, and she was like, "What did he send that on?" And I don't know. And she looked up the menu, and he
here we go.
Beer, and she's like, "That's only like $30. Where's the other $40?" I'm like,
"Oh yeah, and dude, he must have gotten that when he got home." Look at the detective work they're doing. But this is when a woman does care. At least she does care. But look, this goes back to the variables you can't control. I mean, and look, you don't want to, I've lived like this, guys. You don't want to live like this. With a woman sitting there adding up a menu and, unless you're going to be honest about it and let her know. She can look up the menu. This does mean she cares about you, because a woman who doesn't and is checked out, this is better than being checked out. But this is how you want a woman to be, as opposed to the other way around where she's cheating on you. This is why options is good. This is why, because look what it makes them do. They're all neurotic. They're all checking this is not hate. This is not love. This is not hate, but it's definitely not indifference. You know what I mean? And that's the worst thing you can have. She's active. She's checking it out, and she busted him. And the argument happened Sunday night into Monday morning, and both of them handled this terribly. But you don't want to live like this. You don't want to live with your girl checking the menu, and you can't control things well enough to get away with it. You just can't as guys. There's too many variables.
don't know, Shan. Like, if you ask Chris to save the receipt, you'll have to look at the receipt. I was like, maybe you bought one of the guys dinner.
See, look at the girl. I mean, but this is why you don't ask women for advice. Maybe she's trying to be all nice. This is a testament to Nicole being nice. Women being nice. They don't give you the proper answer. Maybe he bought another guy. No, you both know. You both have cheated before. All ladies have cheated, by the way.
One at the ballgame, like, who knows? So then she started going through their bank statement.
There we go.
Was there any crime charges while she was gone? Because they don't have that relationship where he spends whatever he wants, she spends whatever they want, the bills get paid, It's like, you want something, go buy.
No, when she was getting away with her BS, she didn't care. Now she's been challenged. I mean, look how women, look how women, and this is sad, but both women, but look how they shape up when you go out and present competition. This is why more men can't. I understand that because they don't have the ability to. But if you can, sometimes it's good to generate competition. Look how well they act. Now she's going back through and checking. Now she gives a damn.
So there was that, and then the phone conversations were very small. Usually when we're on trips like that, they talk for 20, 30 minutes. She'll talk to the girls sometimes, they'll FaceTime. They weren't doing any of that. They sent pictures back and forth. There was no pictures, and the reason, or at least I don't think there was, because Shanann usually shows her, be like, oh, look at Cece or Bella doing whatever. There was none of that. And then,
like I said, when you suspect, once you suspect, both sides, guys and girls, when you have that suspicion, when they're talking to you less, when they're less engaged, absolutely. Because you can't, I've been there, I've done this a bad way, I've been bad before, not anymore, but, when you try to keep up a double life, I'll never do it again. It was miserable, guys. It was miserable. Trying to keep up a double life, you'll never want to do that. That's why you have to be honest about your relationships. Good, bad, or ugly, be honest about your relationships. Because trying to live a double life is absolutely miserable.
Let her go because he said he wanted to work out or something whenever she talked to him last. So
I like that.
The next day, I can't remember if she talked to him that morning or not, but it was very sparse throughout the day. He was going to take him to a birthday party with the girl that babysat.
He did.
And through people commenting on Facebook and all the stuff that I've seen, he was at the birthday party. The guy said he was out.
But again, this is how you get a woman to invest in you, is by you investing less into thinking about them. See how much time she's spending into investing into what he's doing? Well, this is the only way women don't care about guys that they're not invested in. She's investing time into figuring out what he's doing, and that means something. Now, it would be better if it was, honest behavior, like you're out having an abundant life. I'm not saying you have to be cheating to get a woman to do that. No, be out having an abundant life, and she'll invest time into figuring out what you're doing. And do not live with her, because she'll spend more time figuring out what's going on. And that's just like we talked about in Atomic Attraction. That's time investment into you. Women will not respect a man they don't invest time into.
I don't remember his name or where I saw it, but I did see that on Facebook. And then she called him that night when we were at the airport, and I figured she talked to him for a little bit, but it was a very short conversation. She wasn't talking, she walked off. She's like, will you watch my stuff? I'm gonna go talk to Chris real quick. And she came back, and it couldn't have been more than 5 minutes. I was like, are you okay? And she's like, no. She's like, I haven't talked to him all day or hardly all this weekend, and he wants to work out. He started working out while he was on the phone with me.
Good for him, guys. Good for him. Doing what he wants to do. Okay? Finally, Chris has gotten the balls to do what he wants to do. Unfortunately, doesn't seem like, Shanann could live with that, and, they should have worked it out, but, good for him. Oh, no, he's only 5 minutes that he had to work out. A good woman would be okay with that, though. She might be upset, like, damn it, but a good woman, this is her time. She doesn't like it because she's used to running him, and finally he's taking his power back. Good for him. This is how you need to be, abundant life. Now, it shouldn't be to where it's gotten so bad to where horrific things happen. That's why we're talking about this. You need to live that abundant life prior to all this bad stuff happening, and you should never exert that kind of horrific violence on somebody like that. And that's what all this made it do. This is the Swiss cheese. All the holes of Swiss cheese aligning. But good for him for taking his power back for a little bit. But too late. That's why he's doing life in prison.
I just let him go. And Chris used to work out like this all the time. With Thrive, he's lost 70, 80 pounds, and he's gotten really fit in the last 6 months.
And look what this has done. Hold on, what a gem there near our end of our video. He's gotten very fit, lost 60 to 70, 70 to 80 pounds, he said. Last 6 months, looks like the Thrive thing works. But look who's noticing. Nicole noticed for sure. He's banging twice a day. Guys, getting into shape. Do not listen to these looks don't matter and it's your social game. And it all matters. It all matters. But especially looks. Okay? Why not have all five, whatever it is in life? Yes, social game matters. But you can't tell me, look what people are, his wife's noticing. And that's dread game, right? Dread game. And this is, we're talking about a whole different level of dread here, right? It's too late. It's too late for them. And the fact that, he couldn't, they couldn't have a civil conversation. Maybe they could have worked it out, but violence is never the answer, But what I want to point out is, look at Nicole has noticed. She noticed he looked a lot better. Nicole Atkinson noticed. Nicole Kessinger noticed. And she's rewarding him. Like I said, they'll reward you when you look better. Nicole Kessinger rewarded him by banging him 5-6 times a week, twice a day.
Where does he work out at?
In their basement. It's her mom calling me.
It matters to work out. Get in the gym. Get jacked.
So, and then we came home, and she was upset because she was like, "You didn't even want to talk to me." And then I did remember seeing a text from him because she texted him and told him our plane wasn't going to get in until about 1:32 in the morning because of the delay. We weren't sure because at that time we weren't sure. They were estimating we were waiting for the flight crew to get there. And he said, "Holy crap, that's late," and something else. But I remember the "holy crap, that's late." And I didn't see any text after that. And I know Shanann was in pain a lot in the plane because she wouldn't sit still. She kept moving and reach up.
Like I said, that's stress.
Trying to get
comfortable.
Yeah.
You have any knowledge about their finances?
Yeah, they're terrible.
Dead as their eyeballs,
Yeah.
rolling in. Were they...
I would say, I don't know. I collected their mail while they were in North Carolina, and there was a lot of mail. I didn't go through it or whatever, but I think they were having financial issues because it was always, she makes enough money that their daughters go to a really high-end preschool and stuff, like private school.
I just wrote down.
What?
Vista Ridge?
Yeah.
Okay.
Vista Ridge, yeah. They go to Primrose Vista Ridge, and that's it. By her being in North Carolina, that was a $2,500 savings that month. So if that tells you anything, I work nights and my children go to daycare 2 days a week. So, but he works in the oil fields. He's got to make good money.
Well, he made okay money, by the way. Look, there's a woman not knowing enough. Nicole Kessinger kind of knew what their salaries were, 70 grand. Maybe he made a little, so Nicole Atkinson, women know, they don't know. They don't know, They're not leaders of industry usually. But anyway, and look at that, She made enough money for her kids to go to Vista Ridge. So she paid for the preschool? And then Chris pays for everything else? That was $2,500 a month? And you're in debt? Like, and she's a stay-at-home mom. That's again, leadership. Chris, leadership. You don't get to have a preschool. This is Shanann not living through logic and reason, but through, social image, feelings. I want my kids to have, and it did seem that, the kids were a burden on her. You watch them. She's like, pray for me. I'm going to the zoo with my kids. It sounded just like complaining, whining, But again, $2,500 a month on a school, and you guys are in, what is that a year? What, 24,000 plus $30,000, and you guys are, you know, come on, man. But that's a man not leading his wife, not doing the budget, not in her, not being able to stick to a budget. Probably you gotta have enough capital to do that with your wife. You don't, get out.
I mean, I don't know. We don't talk about finances.
What a problem.
Okay. But your impression was that they had a significant amount of debt. Would that be a fair statement?
Yeah, because I know they filed bankruptcy before.
Okay.
She's made that statement. And I know that they have, like, because she's always very, like, meticulous. Not like that we don't go out to lunch several times a week or whatever, but she's like,
Several
well,
times a
I need to
week?
go here because it's cheaper, or, like, she thinks about how she's spending her money.
Yeah, right. Hey, you're filing bankruptcy yet going out to lunch several times a week. I mean, yeah, this is a person living in delusion without leadership from a man. She's out of control. Shanann was out of control.
So did they go to Vista Ridge like full time?
Oh yeah.
She works from home.
The guy's like, what?
She takes them every day.
Yeah,
You can't believe it.
Okay. And is that the one in Erie?
Yep, that rich one.
That was the other thing. I was going to call school and see if the girls were there. And I actually got a text message this evening from one of the parents at the school that does Thrive. Because she was in Arizona with us. She didn't fly in and fly out at the same time, but she texted me. Sorry, and she said that one of the other moms, I have that too, one of the other moms at the school said that they heard Chris call yesterday morning and say the girls weren't going to be there.
Oh, I'm sorry, say that again.
So Chris called the school yesterday morning
Chris called the school.
and said the girls were not going to be there that day, and then told them that they were separating and they were going to sell the house.
Do you remember who that was?
I don't have a name. I have a Max's mom, but I can give you Karen's number and you can call her.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put friend and girls school.
Okay. Anything that we haven't talked about you think we need to?
It's funny. I was talking to Cassie on the way to work and I was like, I'm losing my mind. I don't want to forget anything. I don't want to. I think she texted me and told me a list. I know that sounds horrible. I still thought she did.
Oh yeah, you were gonna check for pictures, other pictures.
Oh yeah. Oh, he told me to leave the house and everything was fine even though the car and things were still there. He did
Chris?
he did tell me to leave the house.
When was that?
That was when I called him the first time. He's like,
Yeah.
Could you please leave me quit messing with my doors because I kept setting off his alarm system. This is hearsay, but he told Cassie to not get the police involved when he talked to her. Oh, he mixed up his stories with everybody. So he told me that the girls and Shanann were on a play date. And then he told her mom something different. And then he also told Addie, which I gave you her number, he texted Addie something different too. I think one of them was that she left in the middle of the night and the other one was she left that morning.
Yeah, here's the thing: the herd's coming after you. Women, when they start herding up like this, they're awesome together. I'm just saying, as a man, and you have abdicated leadership, and now the herd's got it. They're coming after you, and it's going to be chaotic. And this is not bad to say. This is wonderful about women, and they are going to henpeck you. Peck. It's going to be a coordinated attack. Like beta males do to the alpha male. Just coordination. Weakness or the vulnerable sex, attack, not a weak, don't think a weak, but I'm talking about men who are weak and the beta males that attack the alphas. But in the women, it's, they come at you with the herd. And this is a man that's abdicated leadership. And now look, and he's got these lies going. I mean, this, it wasn't going to last. He confessed. It didn't go to trial. Probably do one more video. But he confessed to it. So, but they already had him dead to rights. That truck he had, he used that, I think, to dispose of the body. And anyway, if you know the case, the horrific stuff he did was in the truck. And don't go looking for it. It's not. I'd rather not know. But I'm sorry. I figured it out. But anyway, yeah. So they have the cameras. They had like I said, the GPS. I mean, the amount of evidence they had, he didn't have a chance at trial. So he just. That's why a lot of this stuff has to become public. He had to go look for it. But yeah, he's doing several life sentences. So. He's done, and he's serving. Apparently, I don't know if he's still there in Wisconsin. I don't know what that had to do with anything. But he's not in Colorado. He's in Wisconsin. So, anyway, we'll see you on the next one.